It's Nick. I'm back with another episode. This one's going to be a little bit different. I got some videos to show you, definitely. Really good ones, important videos. You may not have seen them, but watch them, please. Please like, share, and subscribe. I still am new to this platform. I'm working my way around, just trying to figure out things. Still trying to learn software. I'm probably going to have to learn new software here soon. Um, it's confusing and it's a lot when you're on your own and you're teaching yourself to do this. So it's really tough. It can be, and it can be frustrating because it could take like 2 or 3 hours of your time to figure out one little tiny thing. So it takes time to really get good at this. So I don't plan on being good at this for a while. I have 3 videos I wanna show you. All of them are fairly short. Actually, one's really short, one's pretty short, and the other one's kinda short. They're all really important. Um, they all kinda touch on the same subjects except for one. There's a lot going on, guys, but what I'm noticing is there's a lot more people waking up, and that's good. I'm seeing a lot more people speaking out that I didn't see speaking out before, which is good, but I'm also still seeing a lot of that silence. Um, but I guess that comes with it. I don't know if people are afraid to be wrong, whether they're afraid to be judged by somebody, which that blows my mind. I don't care what somebody thinks about me. So I don't understand why more people are not. There's 350 million of us in this country allegedly. And I don't see it too much as you would think. I mean, it's just plain as day what's going on right now. I'm sorry, I keep looking up at the fan. I'm probably gonna turn that down. You may or may not be able to hear that. Again, I have a couple cats. A fire alarm may go off. I'll pause it if that happens. It's one of the old school ones. It's loud, only lasts a few seconds. And occasionally I have some speech problems. I did get hit. So sometimes it's better than others. So it happens. My apologies ahead of time. Anyways, let's get into these clips real quick. And I want to show you the first one of another one where somebody caught two suns in the sky. This was just recent.
At. We're also going to Northern Ireland. In fact, we're going over there right now. Margaret M. shared this photo with me. She said she looked up and saw the dual suns at sunrise the other day and couldn't believe what she was looking at. Took these couple of photos, shared them with me. I'm sharing them with you guys. And you don't see the typical reflection like you normally do when you take photos of the sun. However, this one here did have a reflection in it, but it's got weird rings in it. I don't know what was going on during sunrise the other day, visible from Northern Ireland, but that is a very bizarre photo taken by Margaret M. And here's also an example of the dual sun phenomena. However, in this photo, the suns are vertical opposed to horizontal. Photo here taken by Carmen P. out of Port Washington from about 5 days ago. These photos here are less than 48 hours old by Margaret out of Northern Ireland. Great photos, guys. Keep them coming. Looking at the Earth-facing side of the sun.
Ain't that crazy? We're seeing more and more of it. More two suns. I mean, I've seen people live with 4 of them. And you see 4 reflections. And it's just crazy. I've seen multiple moons, 2, 3 moons. And we continue to see this. Let me show you this video real quick. This is a short one, and I don't think anybody's seen this, and I've been meaning to play this clip. I think I know what this is, but I want to see if anybody in the comments can figure out what this is. It's very strange. Check. Hold on, let me add it. Okay, hold on. All right, what is this?
No one has any clue what it is.
Hold on, guys. Sorry. Wait, let me pause that. Rewind. What is this? Hold on. There we go.
No one has any clue what it is. I'm trying to make sense of it myself. Is that some sort of... That's not a foam finger that got caught up in the rainstorm, is it?
No.
Is that a balloon covered in dish soap?
No.
For those of you listening on the radio stream, I'd have to estimate it's about the length of one's leg. It touched down at about the first and second base split, halfway between the bags, and has now taken a course across the infield behind the mound over to third base side foul territory.
I ain't touching that.
It looks like a giant ice cube you might have pulled out of your fridge. Head groundskeeper Patrick Coakley, otherwise known as Irish, has come to scoop it up. Still have no clue what the unidentified object may be. Is it a big wisp of cotton candy that flew off the roof?
No.
Patrick's struggling to contain it. It's trying to float away.
Going into the stands. What was that? Now, I have an idea of what that is. I don't know if you follow a guy named Richie from Boston. He, for the past 15 plus years, has basically been circling the United States, capturing all kinds of film of different areas, going up in the mountains, and just he likes to film stuff. And he's also a very great researcher and truther. And I have noticed over the years that he has caught that similar substance on like hanging from trees and telephone poles, and it was even all over his car. And when it disperses a little bit, it's kind of like almost like a spider web material. It's very creepy, man. And it's like, I don't know. I think he put some in a bag and sent it off for testing. And I don't know what or if there was any results that ever came back from that. But it's just strange because that's exactly what it looked like, but only in a lot, like in a condensed form. His was more spread out because you could tell towards the end when he broke it up, it looked almost kind of spider webbish. And that's exactly what he had been seeing over the past. I think he started seeing that like 5 or 6 years ago. I seen it on his videos and he filmed it quite a few times. Very strange and interesting stuff, let me tell you. I got 2 more videos to share with you, and they are both absolutely excellent. This one right here just deserves an award. It just does. This is KJ Osborne from The Scariest Movie Ever on YouTube. Ignore the title because he's a truther. He has nothing to do with it being a scary movie. Listen to this. Please listen to this from beginning to end. I promise you'll get something from it. You should.
Hey guys, it's KJ from The Scariest Movie Ever. And it would seem that the Artemis April Fool's joke is upon us all. I say that for a variety of reasons, but there's a whole lot going on here around this whole spectacle. As many of you know, when it comes to NASA, it's an organization that cannot be trusted in many ways. And in fact, most of the time when they have a launch, these are a type of a ritual. And if you've never been down that rabbit hole, you can go take a look at all the various patches for these NASA launches, and then you'll see all the occult symbolism all over these patches. There's always dragons, there's always demons, and even more. There's all kinds of the very common occult symbols that we find in our media. We find them on these patches. In fact, I want to show you this patch right here in just a moment, because this patch right here signifies something very interesting. So most of us around here understand that in the Bible, it talks about a firmament. It's like a water dome above this earth that we can't exactly see. But the point is that it's a contained system and there's no way out. But if you take a look at this patch right here, as I mentioned earlier, you see the dragons up at the top, right? There's always the dragons. But look down just a little further over to the right, and you'll see that 8-pointed star right there, right? And I've pointed that out to you many times before. Ultimately, it's a sign of Lucifer. It's a
Keep this paused and look at it as long as you want. Screenshot it. That there's so much in this photo.
Sign of the devil, right? The 8-pointed star. But take a look at that, and you can see the 8-pointed star, the devil, right, is shooting through what looks like a portal or perhaps a Stargate. So that's the idea. Many people believe as a possibility that that's the way that the occult, these Masons, that they get around the firmament by going through stargates and portals. Even right here, if you take a look at this footage right here, you can see that the astronauts are preparing, right? And as you can see right here, you see this fella right here preparing this astronaut. But take a look at his hands, and it looks like there's some kind of a tattoo there on his hands, which is interesting. And even watch right here, you'll see the astronaut here give him the 666, right? Some people say the OK, I know, but the 666. And the reason I bring that up is because take a closer look at the tattoo on this man that was just preparing this astronaut, just helping him out. And you can see it's Baal, Satan, whatever term you want to put on it.
Baal, Moloch, Satan. So you got that there on the hand. You got the Freemasonic square right there on the NASA costume. The orange is also of the Freemasonic order. That's what they wear. This is all Freemasonic symbolism written all over it, from the rocket to the crew to the launch to everything was 3333. Just keep watching.
It always goes back to the devil, but this is looking like a Baal, maybe a Molech. Much of what we're experiencing and seeing in these last days is the rise of the Mother Goddess, ancient goddesses, the divine feminine. And it's important to understand that any time that we're speaking of a Mother Goddess type figure, this is not something from heaven. This is always something demonic or from Satan's realm. These goddesses, these Mother Goddesses. A Mother Goddess is a major goddess characterized as a mother or progenitor, either as an embodiment of motherhood and fertility or fulfilling the cosmological role of a creator and or destroyer figure, typically associated with the earth, sky, and or the life-giving bounties thereof in a maternal relation with humanity or other gods. A prime example of one of these demonic mother goddesses could be Lilith, and Lilith is portrayed as Adam's first wife, created from the same earth as him, who refused to submit to him sexually and fled to the Garden of Eden. This act of defiance demanding equality led to her exile and transformation into a demon. She was said to mate with the archangel Samael and bear demonic offspring called Lilim. As punishment, God decreed that 100 of her children would die daily, but in revenge, she would strangle newborn infants unless protected by amulets bearing the names of 3 angels. Lilith's myth evolved in Kabbalistic tradition, where she became a symbol of uncontrolled feminine power and sexual independence, often contrasted with Eve's obedience.
Everyone knows who Lilith is.
This really is interesting because it goes back to the very beginning of this, what we see now commonly in our world, but this battle between the matriarchy and the patriarchy. But also remember, it has to do with energy, male and female energy. And in heaven, right, the angels, as we are told, were all male. There's male energy, right? This doesn't have to do with body parts so much, but it's male energy from heaven. Our Heavenly Father is male energy. But what we see right now in this world is this rise in the female energy, or the so-called matriarchy. But we see it so perverted and deranged. It's coming through in witch.
It's not even that, man. Forget. Let's put aside the gods for a second. Aren't the men more like feminine now? I don't know. I don't get it, but keep listening, guys.
Witchcraft, right? Through sorcery and through extreme feminism. I personally have been pointing out the rise of the Mother Goddess spirit for many years. I've showed you a lot of different examples, but we actually have one right here relating right back to this launch, because they launched on April Fool's Day, right? Mm-hmm. But something else happened on April Fool's Day. Hollywood released a trailer for a new movie coming out, and that movie is called Mother Mary, right? And times before.
Mother Mary, what? Oh, I screwed it up. Hold on. Wait, where were we? That's my bad. Oops. I think we're there. Right there.
Spirit once again. So they really are perverting the idea of who Mother Mary. When you look at this footage here, you can. But something else happened on April Fool's Day. Hollywood released a trailer for a new movie coming out, and that movie is called Mother Mary, right? And when you look at this footage here, you can tell the way she's dressed up and her headgear and all this. But this goes back to the mother goddess, goes back to the mother goddess spirit once again. So they really are perverting the idea of who Mother Mary is, right? And they're mixing in that theology of the mother goddess. So here we have this perversion, this degradation of Mother Mary, right, of the mother of Jesus Christ. We have this released on the very same day, on April Fool's Day, as Artemis, and Artemis itself is connected to the mother goddess through the name, and I'm going to show you that in just a second. But once again, as you can see, Hollywood doing what Hollywood does, right, and going after religion, right, or in this case, Mother Mary. Here's another example I want to share with you about how we physically see the rise of this mother goddess spirit, and they made this statue. Some of you may remember a few years ago, they claimed it was for Ruth Ginsburg, but to me...
And then as you look at that statue, remember the one at CERN several years ago where somebody captured on their cell phone before AI them sacrificing a girl in front of a statue, a big, I think it's like 10 foot by 12 foot. It's a bronze statue of some mythological demon goddess, Shiva. And they sacrificed this, we'll just say younger one. Unbelievable.
When you really look at it, it looks a lot more like one of the ancient depictions of some of these demons, demons associated with the mother goddess. Look at this, right? That's supposed to be a statue of Ruth Ginsburg, right? No, that's the cover story. This is Mother Goddess you're looking at right here. One of the reasons why we can claim that so many of these NASA launches are rituals, right, is because so many of them are named after different demons, gods, goddesses. Okay, and you find this here with Artemis.
Go look up. Just I wish I had it. See, I'm not one of them good YouTubers yet. Good hobby YouTubers, whatever you call it. But if you go look up all the names of all the rockets that SpaceX and NASA has thrown up into the air every day, the ones that we've known about and not known about. 99.9, if not all of them, are named after like a dragon, a goddess, a god, a demon, a fallen angel, a Nephilim, all of them. Or they'll have some type of meaning in gematria. Nothing is ever normal. Nothing. It's nothing. We live in a matrix.
This actually is the ancient Greek goddess, another ancient goddess of the hunt, the wilderness, wild animals, childbirth, and chastity, and more. I thought this was interesting down here with family. She's actually the daughter of Zeus and the twin sister of Apollo. So we find all these mythologies mixed in, all the different names, all the different characters. Many times it always just goes back to Satan, right? Regardless of the character or the name. That's not to say there aren't a whole bunch of different characters, but they all go back to him. So here we have Artemis and a connection to the goddesses. Now I want you to check this out, because Artemis also connects to Lady Liberty. The Statue of Liberty is historically linked to the Roman goddess Libertas, whose Greek equivalent is Eleutheria, an epithet of the Greek goddess Artemis. Some interpretations suggest that Lady Liberty is ultimately a representation of Artemis, and that
it's Lucifer.
It's important for what I'm about to show you.
Mm-hmm. Now, oh, Kid Rock, everybody. Kid Rock, the pedo.
Now, right here we have a very interesting sequence of events that played out, and it goes back to the Mother Goddess, Statue of Liberty, and Kid Rock, of all people. Now, I know Kid Rock is one that's out there, and he proclaims Christianity. But, I don't like doubting people or slandering or accusing them, but I'm not sure sometimes, because, take a look at this right here. Take a look at the pool, and you can see his Masonic pattern there. So, of course, he's one of them, right?
I mean, yeah, he's one of them. Listen, you cannot be up into you can't be getting awards in Hollywood unless you are one of them.
He's got his Masonic pattern there, and he's got this Black Hawk helicopter out there visiting him. But look where he's at. He's right here next to the Statue of Liberty. And he's making this, he's making like the same symbol as the Statue of Liberty. He's got his Masonic pattern at the pool with the helicopters out here. Now, I see this as some kind of a ritual. I'm not sure exactly what the meaning is, right, or what they're exactly trying to say. But I also find it interesting we're coming back to that rise of the Mother Goddess. This was a really big story when it happened. And right there she is, right, the statue. And Kid Rock and the Masonic board. Something odd, right? So we know the Statue of Liberty is a Mother Goddess. Artemis is connected to the Statue of Liberty. We've seen the Statue of Liberty there with Kid Rock, the Masonic pattern, the helicopters. But we found the Statue of Liberty again. This is just a few months back. From out of nowhere, this art installation, they're calling it, showed up. And sure enough, here it is. It's the Statue of Liberty, the Mother Goddess, Artemis. We find this just over the last few months popping up out of nowhere, in the middle of nowhere. Statue of Liberty, the rise of the Mother Goddess. While looking through all kinds of imagery related to the Mother Goddess, I did notice a few things and found a very interesting connection. But one thing I did find is that over and over again, you'll find representatives or representations of the Mother Goddess like this. Different pottery,
It's like a touchdown.
paintings, pictures, or sculptures,
Probably where they
whatever.
get it from.
But any kind of a depiction you'll find of the Mother Goddess, oftentimes you'll find them with their arms both raised, just like this. Something I found over and over again, the Mother Goddess represented with her arms raised, just like this. And it reminded me I'd seen that somewhere else, connected to a whole other series of symbols. Here's a depiction of
touchdown,
Anubis,
field
and you can
goal.
see Anubis has its arms raised like that as well. It's interesting how you'll find a lot of these characters associated with the mystery schools and the occult. You'll find them with very similar patterns, symbols, or even right here. Like I said, he's raising his hands in many of his depictions of Anubis, just like the Mother Goddess, with many of those depictions with the hands raised.
Guys, you're looking at the fallen ones, man. These things are coming back and they're going to be scary looking. These are just man-made depictions of things. These things are going to be horrifying.
But wait, there's more. When looking back to ancient Egypt, I found several examples of this, of Anubis kneeling and raising a fist. And it's not just Anubis, there's other statues they have that are doing the exact same thing, kneeling and raising the fist. And this is back for ancient Egypt, of course. The fallen ones, yeah, it was all about the fallen angels and the hybrids and whatnot. So here we have this symbol, but you've seen that in modern day because it's come back. It always comes back around, doesn't it? You may remember during this whole operation that had to do with George Floyd, there was lots of kneeling and there was lots of fists. And this was at the White House, of course, we had a bunch of these people doing the kneeling, right? But it wasn't for George Floyd. There's another component here. And I'm sure you'll recognize this fist. Yes, we see the fist with all of these different protests in America. It's always that fist. When I see it, though, I'm thinking.
And think of that. All these protests we did over the past 5 years, what did it solve? Not one thing. You're not going to solve something with a fist in the air and a stick with a sign. Sorry.
Back to these statues, to the old meaning, the original meaning, and what this connects to, like fallen angels, Satan himself. Now, here are some examples of the people kneeling with the fist, right? Now, again, this is all over the place back then, and it's a spirit. It's a spiritual thing. Like I said, it goes back to that same spirit from ancient Egypt. It goes back to the same kneeling and the fist. In short, all of it is an Antichrist spirit, right? We see a lot of the symbols connected to this. Interesting, we can draw these connections from ancient Egypt, which was opposed, of course, to the Lord God, the Creator God. And we find that same energy, the same symbolism, the same activity in these days right now where the world is really going crazy, like crazier than it ever has. And each week it gets crazier. But it's interesting we find a return to the symbols, the kneeling and the fists. Also in relation to the Mother Goddess, to the rise of the Mother Goddess, Diwali, The primary Diwali goddess is Lakshmi, the Hindu deity of wealth, prosperity, and good fortune. But I mainly wanted to connect this Diwali right back to the goddesses, back to the mother goddess. And I wanted to cover that subject and connect that to the mother goddess because recently, this is just a few weeks ago, in the White House, you had Trump participating in a Diwali celebration. So once again, this brings the mother goddess right into the White House. It's really interesting because that's the two opposing energies, really. You know, it's the matriarchy versus the patriarchy. But once again, it's that rise of the mother goddess. We see it all around us. Most people may not recognize what it is, but that's what's happening right here. We had the mother goddess celebration in the White House with President Trump.
Notice that?
So we find the fingerprints of the mother goddess all over Artemis and the launch, and really so many more of their launches, these public rituals right before the people's eyes. So much deception involved, but it's actually encouraging to see in these days more and more people are waking up to all the deception because everything's coming out. Everything's being exposed. You know, if a person's just barely paying attention these days, they can catch it. But unfortunately, there's still a lot of people that just don't want to know. They don't want to see. It's incredibly important. It's the most important thing to understand that this world is ruled by really wicked people. And it always has been. It's a part of this beast system. It's the prison system that we live in, that we've all grown up in. And it certainly looks like a prison system, the way it's all been set up. You know, everybody has to work 8 hours a day, right? You know, and then the children are in school 8 hours a day. And always, and the school, of course, is teaching them how to be cogs in the machine, right? Then release them into the world and let them become a part of the machine. Yeah, but as I said, man, the world's waking up. They're starting to realize more and more, especially since the files, you know, that really woke a lot of people up, I've noticed. Although around these parts, we've known these things for many years. Still, it's encouraging to see so many people are waking up more and more. That's always my hope. So the more people will wake up and see this world for what it truly is, and to understand that that there are really wicked and nefarious people at the top of the pyramid. But as I know, and many of you know, there's no fear when you reside in Christ. When you're in Jesus, there's no fear. And these days, to me, it's a requirement. Like, you must have the Holy Spirit to survive and to make it through these days, and just to be able to tell what's real and what's not.
Yes.
You know, you really, really need that discernment these days. That's how crazy it's gotten, right? How out of control it is. But as I've been saying for years, we're at the doorstep of tribulation. Everything will be popping off soon. The Bible says we'll know what season it is, and certainly I know it's that season. I know many of you do too. So on that note, if you haven't accepted that free gift of salvation from Jesus, I hope and pray you do. It's the most important decision you'll ever make, the best choice you could ever make. Because as you know, and as I've been showing you, these are highly deceptive times, and it's only going to get worse. So let's do our best to try to wake the people up. And of course, to not give into any kind of a fear out here, you know, to be a light in this world the best we can, to be warriors. And I hope you will. So on that note, guys, thank you once again so much for checking out my video. And I truly hope you're doing well out there. So Lord willing, I'll see you in the next video.
Yeah. I mean, guys, and it's good that everybody's waking up, but it's just I just get really aggravated over how the world is, though, especially in our country. Just how people are. I just kind of like made a point of it myself when I went out today, and I pulled into a parking spot, and I'm sitting there fumbling around looking for something after I parked, and somebody's banging on my window yelling something about something that I almost hit somebody. I don't know what they were talking about. I went to a stop sign, I made a right doing about 2 miles an hour and then parked. And this woman was flipped out, sweating, face was red. I just kept my window up and ignored her, and she eventually went away after yelling and yelling and yelling. Guys, people are losing their minds. Things are getting really expensive. The spiritual attack is getting thick. It's getting really thick. I've got some very, very good videos coming up. I'm going to keep pumping them out. This one is I'm still testing everything on YouTube just to see how it flows, how it goes. Again, practice makes perfect. It's going to take time. I want to be able to, and speaking of which, if anybody knows how, I want to be able to show you guys stuff live, but with it in the back while I'm talking to you and showing you. And I can't figure out how to do that. And I know it's probably pretty easy to do, especially on StreamYard, because I know you can do it. But yeah, I have some really good videos coming up. Please stay tuned for that. I think I'm going to upload one more tonight. And then after that, this weekend, I am going to be busy showing you guys a lot of stuff. So please stay tuned. Please pray for everybody. I ask that you please pray for my son, both of my sons, and both of their families. Please pray for me and pray for one another because we all need it. And we all know that they take their God seriously. We need to start taking Jesus Christ as serious as they take Baal, Moloch, Lucifer, and Shiva, and all these other gods they take so seriously. And then they mock us because it's the truth. If Jesus Christ wasn't real, there would be nothing to mock. It's pretty easy to explain. But anyways, guys, I got a great video coming up after this. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.